Hi again everybody, Paul from Journey of a Petrolhead. Today we're looking at the 530D MSport F10 model. Now, the F10 model for the BMW 5 Series range comes in an awful lot of choices. There's a lot of different engines, there's a lot of different spec trims. Even on the standard MSport, if you follow me, there's a lot of different options you can add as well. So there's a whole load of ways you can configure these cars. So this particular review will deal with the one we have here in front of us, which is a 530D MSport. Now, the 530D has a 3-litre diesel V6, or it could be an inline 6. Actually, that's why I stopped. I can't remember if it's a V6 or an inline 6. But it's a 3-litre diesel 6-cylinder engine. It has the twin power turbo as opposed to twin turbo power. So the twin turbo is on the 535D. The twin power turbo, the twin scroll, if you like, is on the 530D, developing 258 horsepower thereabouts, which is similar but slightly less than the Jaguar XFS I used to have before this, the 3-litre diesel portfolio. They're the V6 twin turbo, 277 horsepower. Both those cars have an 8-speed ZF gearbox, and if I'm honest, this one, the BMW, drives better, right? It's got snappier acceleration, the torque delivery is nicer, it's a much better balanced chassis. Compared to the XFS, they're both rear-wheel drive, but the delivery in this, the balance in this chassis is far superior, and the gearbox is absolutely gorgeous. You can put it in a whole lot of different modes. You can have it in Eco Pro mode, kills all the power basically. You can have it in Comfort mode, which is just standard, and you can have it in Sport and Sport Plus. Sport tightens up the steering, electric power steering, and Sport Plus, depending on the options you have, will mess with the suspension. The adaptive suspension is not on this one. This is standard MSport suspension without adaptive dynamics. As I said, you can get it with a lot of different options. To drive, it's absolutely amazing. Now, what I really want to draw attention to though are the headlights. BMW LED headlights. Now, these are the adaptive headlights. I've never had headlights like these before, but I want them again. So the idea is there's a button in the car to turn on the adaptive headlights. The lights will take care of full beam and dipped beam for you, but they'll go further than that. If they detect a car coming towards you or a car in front of you, if there's one coming towards you, it'll dip the headlights. If there's one in front of you, the headlights, instead of shining full beam in front of you, they'll almost create a black box in the middle where that car is. It almost draws a box around the car in front of you. So you have wide beams either side where appropriate. So if it detects a reflective street sign or a car coming towards you, it turns off these beams, but it'll put a box around the one in the middle. However they manage to swivel the headlight beams, it's incredible. I've never had headlights like this before. So you basically get in the car, turn on the adaptive headlights and forget about the headlight switch forever. It just drives it for you with the really sharp. There's also cornering headlights. So in the two beams in the front here, the one on the inside is cornering. It's not xenon or LED, it's just your standard halogen bulb. Comes on when you turn on the indicators or turn the wheels, right? And this beams out that way and that goes on ahead straight still. So you can see what's in front of you, but actually it lights what's coming at you around the corner, what you're going into around the corner, if you follow me. Really good. So the headlights on this car, if you have the option to buy the adaptive headlights for a BMW 5 Series like this, do it. They're absolutely brilliant. I do remember on several cars in the past where I said, I wish I had a car that would just shine a brighter light on the left-hand side. So we drive on the left-hand side over here. So on the left-hand side of the road, to highlight the ditch or any obstructions or any potholes or whatever. This does that. So as you're driving down the road in traffic at night, it will illuminate brighter on the left-hand side, just that part of the drive you're heading into. They're just amazing. I love those headlights. I've never had anything like them. I want them again. I don't know if anybody else does them. Let me know in the comments, but they're incredible headlights. What else do we have on this particular car? Let's take a walk around it, shall we? And I'll show you the various details. So let's start with the front. Being an M-Sport, we have different front bumper. It's just a different style, really. It's got more access for air to get in down below, and it's got a nicer setup for the spotlights. I prefer the front bumper on the M-Sports. I don't like the front bumper on the standard ones, but again, these come in all sorts of shapes and sizes, so each to his own. I also prefer, on the Jaguar I had before this, I preferred the blacked out grille and the blacked out windows and no chrome anywhere. On this particular car, I prefer the chrome. It actually works out really nicely. I love the kidney grills on this particular F10 generation of the 5 Series. A quick comment on the later versions of the 5 Series designs. not a fan. This is the last 5 Series design, in my opinion anyway, that is really, really nice. The lines of the car, the design of the car is really, really nice. It's also extremely reliable. There's nearly 230,000 kilometers on this car. It's a 2015, as you can see, and it just runs. There's not a problem with it. It's just an amazingly reliable machine, far more so than the Jaguar I had before. And the reason, if I'm honest, the Jaguar was sold is because it was nowhere near as reliable as this. Now, we also have front parking sensors. I have a slight complaint with the front parking sensors in that if you don't engage parking mode while driving forwards into a parking space, for example, they may not come on. So just watch it. You may end up smacking something because you're closer than you think you are if you're relying on sensors that aren't actually active. So watch out for that. I mentioned the headlights already, and there's a headlamp wash system there. Legally, they have to put that on for xenon headlights. It's a rule in EU standards for sales. Now, let's talk about the wheels and the suspension. So being an MSport, the car is down slightly lower than standard, not by much, but it's better suspension, much better suspension than your bog standard 5 Series. And the MSport suspension is really nice. I would like to have one with adaptive dynamics. When you put it in Sport Plus mode, the handling changes and becomes more adaptive. I don't have that. I have the standard MSport springs. They're really nice though. And the brakes, now, unfortunately, you can't see the blue calipers on this car. Sorry, we're filming this in the winter and you can't see the blue calipers, but the calipers are painted blue, showing you've upgraded calipers on your MSport spec, and the brakes are astounding in this machine. A note on the tyres, you can't run this on cheap tyres. I see a lot of comments on the internet and in various user groups where they're putting on cheap tyres, presumably because the proper tyres can't be afforded. Now, I'm running Michelin on the back, Michelin Pilot Sport 4 ZPs, and I'm running Bridgestone Potenzas on the front. I would have rather had Michelin's on the front. They didn't have them in stock. They're all run flats. There's nothing wrong with run flat tyres. Stick with the run flat tyres. Great traction, not worried about a puncture. Never had an issue with these. Running this car for 18 months, never had a problem with tyres, except that it eats the tyres, obviously needs to be replaced. The front tyres don't wear out quite so quick, but the rear tyres, being a rear wheel drive with an awful lot of torque that shoots through the back tyres, the rear wheel drive tends to eat these tyres quite a bit. The back tyres are on this car about 6 months, and to be honest, they need to be replaced again. So watch out for tyres, and please, please, please don't cheap on your tyres. Put on a recognised proper brand that'll deal with the kind of power and drivability and chassis balance that this car has. If you put on cheap tyres, you're not getting the massive handling ability out of this car. You're not getting the best potential out of it, but you're also running a risk that you'll end up in a ditch somewhere. So please, 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 good tyres on a BMW. Don't cheap on your tyres. Now, with a little design ideas, I had the previous generation 5 Series to this many years ago, a 520D, the one with the dreaded timing chain issue. This one doesn't have that. It was a crisp angle design. It was nice, but I prefer the lines on this one. I also prefer these little touches here, the little silver with the M, the silver badge with the little M. It's just those little touches that make it stand out. I like the idea of indicators in the mirrors. These mirrors are not folding, but you can get a 5 Series of this generation with folding mirrors. Again, it depends on the spec you buy. And it's just clean. I like the fact that the rear windows are tinted. I know that's an option in some cars and not in others, and it's a bit of a gimmick, but in actual fact, it makes a big difference to people who are driving in the back. So it's nice. Around the back, very clean lines around the back. I love that design underneath the bumper there with the number plate and the exhaust coming out. It's stylish. It looks good. The lights are nice. The boot is huge. And the rear seats fold in this particular version. They don't always, so watch out if you want folding rear seats. If you get a business edition, for example, they may not fold, so watch out for that. What else can we say about the outside of the car? Not a whole hell of a lot, really. As I said, they come in various spec trims. Sorry, I should point out this is an MSport rear bumper again, different to what their standard would be. And the twin pipes, that come standard really on the diesels, but it's nice. It indicates a 6-cylinder in this instance, and the 6-cylinder engine. I like driving 6-cylinder engines. This one is good. In this particular trim also, the door handles light up at night. You're not going to be able to see that here now in the daylight, but at night the door handles light, so you can actually see where you're going. And they throw a bit of light on the ground, so you can see if you're parked near a puddle. Handy. A note on the wheels. The alloy wheels are a bit soft, I've noticed over time. You'll see a few marks on them there as they've been washed over the years. Be careful washing the wheels. Don't use wheel cleaner that stays on for too long. It will damage the wheels. That's what happened to that one there. And watch out for power pressure. That pressure washers from various car wash places, they will also damage your wheels, as you can see on that one. So watch out for how you're washing the car. You got to be careful. Okay, why don't we have a quick look in the engine bay? So to open the engine bay, there's a lever just on the right hand side, just under the steering wheel. Pop that lever in here, and the handle is just directly where the BMW badge is, just there. Literally slide it forward and goes up, and it's held on gas struts, and it's nicely insulated. This one's a bit dirty, so apologies. You'll notice here it tells you what you're looking at. So this says twin power turbo, which is twin scroll turbo, not a twin turbo like the 535D has. And the handling in this is absolutely amazing, thanks to double strut braces. Very, very nice. Now, oil checkup. There is no dipstick. You check the oil inside in the car. We'll take you through the interior trip computers and so on in this car in a later video. But there's no dipstick on this. So you literally pop the oil in here, and then you have to sort of run around and see how much oil you put in. Now, in my ownership, this car has used probably a litre of oil every couple of thousand kilometres. So they're not known for being light on the oil consumption, but a litre is all it needs each time. So generally I've got to the habit of waiting till just before the warning comes in. You'll see it on the gauge now as you look at the car later, and put in a litre and it's good to go. It just works for a couple of thousand miles, so it's quite nice. The only other thing I generally mess with in here is this. Just the washer fluid. 5 litres of washer fluid goes in there. Again, I wouldn't just put water in, especially being cold, but just watch out for that. The last thing then, for batteries, you will notice there is no battery. The battery is buried in the boot, so if you want to jump start the car, positive terminal is here underneath that. Negative, clamp it onto the chassis at this point here probably, and that's how you jump the car. There isn't much else to say under here. Electric power steering, so there's no power steering fluid. All in all, easy enough to get to, but again, my standard problem, if you compare this to the MG videos we have on the website, you see how easy it is to get to an MG engine from 1979. But look at this. If you want to do any user serviceable on this, well, you can't. It's not that easy to get to. And I know this from experience because I was playing with a race chip here that we test drove for a while. We mounted the race chip box here, and we had to wire it here and to a sensor buried back in here, and it's just very, very hard to get to bits in this engine. So I'd just be careful if you're working on it. Now, a quick note on the race chip. It did make the engine faster, but the engine management system wasn't overly happy. It thought the fuel pressure in the rail was too high, so we took the race chip back out. It really was only on test, but we took it back out and we wouldn't be putting one back in again. And to be honest, my experience of race chips, I probably wouldn't do that again, because your fuel economy goes up and your performance increases ever so slightly, not hugely on this. I mean, out of the box, 258 horsepower, it's quite quick. Would I do it again? No. The one thing I would do though is a pipe across air filter. The air filter box in this is tricky, so you take the plastic cover completely off, and you have to unhook all of them. It's a bit complicated and fiddly. There's a few clips in there that's quite fiddly, so be careful you don't break any of them. But then you take out the whole contraption, slide in a new pipe across air filter, and it's just, look, it gives you an extra couple of horsepower, but it gives you cleaner air coming in each time, and you don't have to pay for a filter again. You literally take out the pipe across, wash it, put it back in. So I like the pipe across air filters. It's a good idea. I'll do that in my next car. As for changing headlight bulbs and user serviceable items like that, well, forget it. You have no hope. There's no way to get to the headlight bulbs, so just forget about it. Leave that for the experts, especially with these headlights. And because, as I said, they're super adaptive headlights, that's one thing I would not do, is try and change these headlight bulbs. Right. That is the exterior of the 530D. Tune into the next video where we'll give you a quick guide to the interior and then we'll take it on a test drive, see what everybody thinks. Alright, thanks guys, like and subscribe, and watch the next video in the series. Cheers.